Stand and we're going to walk. We're going to walk in place. And we're going to put our hands on our hips. And as you put your hands on your hips, well, hello, Mr. Dog. Morning.
Good morning.
So we're walking. We're walking in place. You can take your chair a little bit closer to him.
Sorry?
Do you want him to lay on the rack?
Okay.
And you can put the chair close to him so he feels safe.
Here. Lie down.
There you go.
Poodle, right?
Mostly.
Oh, mostly. 1/4 golden. They're very smart dogs. Very smart. I'm pretty sure she's psychic sometimes.
Sit. It's pretty boring. You can sit, yes. Okay, so the hands are on the hips, on the bones, resting, and we are walking. We are walking in place, and like any other time, you are starting to notice different things. So let's do it a little bit different today. Let's kind of shout out what is your personal notice. You know, I can start. I notice that my heels are going up and down, but barely my toes.
I can feel it in the back of my thighs.
I feel it in the back of my thighs. Maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you're lifting.
Okay.
We're walking.
Okay.
I'm feeling it on the inside of my thighs.
I feel it on the inside of my thighs. Maybe you can turn your toes a little bit outside, just tiny little bit, see how that affects it.
Okay.
I feel my hips moving, right and left and up and down. I feel that my left hip is moving more to the side than my right moving to the right side, but they're equally going up and down.
I find I'm rocking my pelvis forward.
Rocking my pelvis forward. That will put some strain on your back that if you walk for a long time you might feel tired or achy. Every time that you lean forward, it puts pressure on the vertebrae above.
I just finished a 2-mile walk, so.
Good. I notice that some of you bend your knees and some of you don't bend your knees. Hands on the hips so you can feel. Maybe hands on the ribs.
I feel like cramping in my left hip.
Maybe you're standing too wide. Maybe if you went a little bit narrow right underneath your hip.
Yeah.
There's always something that we do to feel what we feel, right?
Uh-huh.
We just kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Margaret, anything?
Me? Feels comfortable.
Hey.
Feels
Where does it feel
relaxed.
comfortable?
Yeah.
What do you notice though?
Yeah, I gotta keep straight so I don't hurt my back.
I feel like I want to sit, and I feel the crease of my buttocks. And when I do that, that makes my walk lazy and slower. Let's try to continue walking the same tempo that's comfortable for you and get into lifting all the way until the toes can let go of the floor. So instead of just lifting up up, we're gonna lift and throw the leg forward a little bit. But it's not a throwing, like I don't need it anymore, it's just kind of like. And start walking for real. And notice how the pelvis weight moves over the legs that's moving forward. What kind of a rhythm does the pelvis have moving forward over the legs that's shifting? And stop and notice the toes in the back. Go ahead and make a step. Like when you step, stand on the leg that's forward and have the toes in the back touching the floor. Then let go of the floor and move very, very slowly forward and see when is it that you take your pelvis over the leg. And how far does the pelvis have to be over the other leg for you to let go the toes from the back, to step forward? How far does the pelvis have to be over the leg that you can actually stand on one leg? And only when you take the leg forward, you shift the weight. What is the timing for it to be really safe and comfortable? Can you feel your big toe? Can you feel the other 4 toes? And do you have like a pictures? Do you need more time? You good? Okay, so let's sit down. And we're going to take our shoes off, if you don't mind. We'll sit on the very edge of the chair.
Even with the, with these big shoes?
Up to you. I like to, we're going to work on.
Okay.
So let's lift all 10 toes and drop them. And lift the 10 toes and drop them. Notice if one toe goes higher than the other. Try not to lift the foot off the floor. So I call these the pillows. There's a big pillow behind the big toe, and there's a little pillow underneath the little toe. So we'll just call them the pillows. So the pillows are staying on the floor, and the toes are coming up. And try to do it slow enough so you can feel if the big toe stays more than the little toe, is the little toe stays on the floor at all, or is it lifting? Or are you rolling towards the little toe and the big toe goes higher? And stay with the toes up, and now shift towards the little toe. Press the little pillow to the ground, but still the toe is up on the air. The little toe is up in the air, but the pillow is pressed into the floor. Come back to the center of the foot and press the big pillow into the floor. It's hard to do without lifting the little pillow a little bit, right? And center, and little pillow. And center and big pillow. And I'm not inventing exercises just for exercises. What I'd like us to feel is how the muscle that come from the upper leg and the knee and the lower leg are working when we are. So start doing it a little bit faster and see how does it, what's your configuration? Can you move the foot underneath you without creating a lot of movement in the legs? Of course, here there is movement, but let's just first see the flexibility in the ankle. And now let's allow the little toe to go down to the floor and come up as far as you can to the lateral side of the foot. Little toes touching the floor. Spread the toes, come into the big pillow, put the big toe on the floor and lift all other four. So you are as on the medial part of the foot as much as you can. Yes, the knees are kind of like coming together. And spread to the outside. You're still lifting your big toe up. Do you notice it? Do you feel it?
Yeah.
That's extra tension.
Mm-hmm.
So right now on the outside, let's lift all toes up and relax them. We'll do like flexion and extension. So we lift them up and we bring them down towards the floor. And we lift them up and down towards the floor. And lift them up and down towards the floor. And lift them up and down towards the floor. And rest all two pillows, big and little, and go into the big pillow and lift all toes and stay on the inside of your feet, on the inside of your feet. And bring the toes down to the floor. Stay on the inside though, and lift the all toes up. And lower the toes down to the floor and lift them up. So we want to be as inside the medial part of the foot. All toes are up, the little toe is higher than the big toe. And down. And up. And down. And up. And down. And up. And down. And relax it, come to the center. Lift the whole foot now to the heel. So only the right, lift the heels down. Heels are down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, it's so black that's, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see, yeah. Okay, so we're lifting. And as we're going down, we're going first the pillow, then the toes, and then we lift. And we step. And we come back. Lift the foot all the way to the heel. Lower the pillows, both of them. Try to get both of them at the same time. And out. And heel. Lower the two pillows together. And again, the big toe up and up. And when I have learned about walking and gait, there's different ways of looking at it, but most of the weight is in the heel, like maybe 70%, and then 20 and 10. But as we shift the weight, we come from the center of the heel, hopefully. Many of us have, if you look at your shoe, you grind your shoe on one side, not on the other. Hopefully we come from the center. We travel towards the little toe. Then we come back to center and we come out second and third toe. That will be a healthy. So let's try with that picture in mind. Let's try from the heel, land towards the outside, come back to the inside, and leave the floor from the second and third toe. Center of the heel, towards the little toe, center both of them, both pillows are touching, and coming out, and heel, and out, and center, and out. And do it in your own timing, now that you have the picture. Think that you're really, really light and you're walking on a head of a cloud or snow and you're making an imprint. And then you're getting out of it without disturbing. You step into the cloud or into the snow. You come to this outside, to the center. You don't have to lift the leg up, it doesn't have to, so you don't get tired. Do it a little bit closer underneath your hip, do it a little bit further out, and kind of detect which one feels better, safer, more connected to the rest of the body. And let's try and walk and feel how is this leg walking now versus the leg that we did not play with. Does it feel any different, the two legs?
Mm-hmm. Very different.
Very different. All right, let's play with the other leg. So we're sitting on the edge of the chair and lift the big toe, all 5 toes, and we go into the little pillow and we go to the big pillow and the little pillow and the big pillow. First without lifting the foot, just feeling the muscle along the foot working to press the little pillow down and press the big pillow up, down. So the foot has 3 layers of muscles. 3 layers. So there's a lot of muscles there that can work. And right now we are working with deeper sets of muscle in the foot. As we age, sorry to say, we put more and more weight in the center here and we drop it, and the muscles are not there. Like a few weeks ago, we did the lifting of the arch between the big pillow and the little pillow. I don't know if you remember, if you were here, but we did like a lifting of the big pillow. I mean, lifting of the arch in the front between the 2 pillows. That's kind of to train that weakness of the muscles and dropping into the bone, because if you don't have those calluses between the big and the little and it's like here in the center, that means that you're dropping here and those muscles are not activated as you're stepping. Okay, so let's go back into what we're doing today. So the 5 toes are up and we're moving from the little pillow to the big pillow. So right now the foot is quiet on the floor and it's only between the pillows. Good, and then we're gonna start going all the way to the little toe and into the big toe. And to the little toe and the big toe. So now it's not so much the muscle deep in the foot, but it's more the muscle that's on the outside and the inside, going into the ankles. And the next time you stay on the outside and you lift the toes and you lower the toes. Flexion and extension with the toes. The little toe is on the floor as you flex and as you extend. You're staying on the outside and it's just the toes that's doing this and that. This and that. The knee's not moving. You're staying on the little toe and you're walking with the toes. You're only on the outside. You're staying on the outside of the foot and it's just the toes that's moving a little bit up and down and up and down. Now there's a difference when we're doing it tuck, 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 tuck. That's kind of like you're just bending at the joint here. When you're doing it really slow, you're actually working all the way into the arch. And then come back into the center and get into the big toe, into the medial part of the foot. Flex all 5 toes and extend all 5 toes. So now the big foot toe is on the floor the whole time and you're extending the toes and you're flexing the toes. So now the knee is pointing inward because we're staying on the inside part of the foot. And come back to the center. And lift the whole foot all the way to the center of the heel. And press both pillows down equally. Try that the big toe is not higher. And then come into the toes and come out of the toes between the second and the third toe. And heel. And both pillows touching the floor at the same time. And you're coming out at the center. And heel. And both pillows. And out in the center. And heel. And both pillows. And out. And back into the picture of coming from the center, going towards the outside, coming back into the center and coming out the center, the second and third toe. So heel, going out a little bit, coming into the center and out. And again, you can have the picture of stepping into the cloud or into a snow, or if you're making an orthotics and you're going into a foam to get your imprint. Or you can visualize the 3 layers of the muscles in the bottom of the foot and feel them working as you're passing by. So shoes. Shoes is a huge subject. Many shoes are supposedly supporting us, heavy, and then we walk bum, 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 and we're not actually coming through. So then you have the other end where it's nothing shoes, where you have to use. But that said, it's nice when you know what we're doing. So we have both the flexibility with knowing how to. So let's try it. Now that we have the other leg and other foot, we're going to walk around and feel how you're shifting the weight from the center of the heel. And you can do it really slow or a little faster. Try it in different tempos, different places. Maybe you can even stop at one point and notice where the weight is. Are your right foot and leg behaves like the left one? And back into the chair. And we're going to lift a leg. And we're going to interlace the fingers and we're going to let the leg rest on the hands. So the knee is nice and soft. And we're going to create a shape of infinity. So it's an 8 that's laying on its side. Wonderful. Everybody does that very well. Put your foot down, please. We're going to do it again. We have another layer. We're going to do it really slow. And the first time, we're going to do it with the big toe leading. Then we're going to do it with the little toe leading. And then we're going to reverse the direction. So the brain is going to be working a little bit. So whenever you need to rest, you just lower your leg down. Okay? You can take care of your own. So we're going to start with the big toe leading the way. What you're doing, you have the picture of the 8 in your mind, and you look at your big toe, and you're drawing the 8, the infinity, with the big toe. So now we are working with gravity. Make sure that the big toe has the paint, nothing else. Take your time. There's parts of the 8s that probably you just want to jump over. Make sure that it's a beautiful 8. And both sides are nice and full. Notice if you're the inside, going in is easier than going out. Definitely for me, the going out is harder. Slow it down so you can actually work on all the muscles and all the tendons. The slower you work, the more control you have. Passing by is just passing by. Like anything else in life. Okay, rest it for a minute. And stand and feel the difference between the way that the awareness on the leg that you just did it versus the leg that we didn't do it yet. And we'll sit down again and we'll catch the leg. And now we're going to go in the same direction that you did, whichever one you chose. But instead of doing it with the big toe, the little toe is having the paint. And you're going to notice that the eighth becomes much smaller and more delicate. And the little toe is a little smaller and has less paint on it. So the line is more maybe thinner or lighter. And notice how many places in this inside and outside of your ankle are screaming. If you're doing it slow enough, if you're actually trying to work with all the muscle that you have there. I mean, okay, let's stop for a minute. I can do this, no problem. I can do it the way that my body knows how to do it for 68 years, right? No problem. I'll go home and I've learned nothing. I've got not even one step forward. But if I take the time to really draw with my little toe, as hard as it is, now I'm working on muscles that I have not activated in who knows how long. As you're doing it, I'll tell you that the guy that came out with this infinity symbol movement, his name is Kavat. He developed it in the early 50s, and that's how he healed people with polio.
That's how he what?
Healed people with polio, when the polio was so prevalent.
Yes.
Yeah.
They work muscles.
Yeah. So I'm just stepping on people that are way smarter than I am. Going in their shoes, kind of trying to make it alive again and not forgotten. And rest. I wish I could send it to you. This week somewhere, I saw, I think I sent it to you, a dance of a woman with balls. And she starts, I guess maybe that's how it all came about today. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's sitting with like 5 balls, and she's catching the balls between these two, and she's turning upside down, and she's moving. Did you see it? Did I send it to you?
I think so.
Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, if you give me your emails, I'll send it to you. It's just mind-boggling. It's
Yeah.
just so beautiful. Okay, so other foot. Lift, and we'll start by making the 8s with a big toe. And again, take your time to actually put paint on the top of your big toe and notice if your line is shaking, if you have areas that you're missing paint because the toe doesn't go all the way. Get interested in the shape of the 8 rather than finishing it and doing another one. when you come up crossing, how does your foot respond to that? When you're going down and you need to come up and cross to the other side, how does the foot turn internally, intrinsically? So it's flat, it's on the side. Maybe it's not quite a circle, but maybe it's more an elliptical that goes from one side to the other. And can you really see the crossing from below to above, from above to below? How is the inner side versus the outer side for you? And rest for a minute before we go to the little one.
Very shaky.
What?
It's very shaky and kind of like it's not very even.
Yeah.
I gotta work on it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the eyes. If you work with the eyes and you're trying to trace a line, like an arc up on the ceiling, and you notice that your eyes are and it shouldn't be that way, but it takes some awareness. Okay, let's go into the little one. We're still going in the same direction that we did, but now we have the paint on the little toe. Slow down, Susan. Little toe, only the little toe has the paint. Slow it down. Make 1/8 in a minute. Try not to pass any place that there's no paint, especially on the crossing, as you come from the outer circle to the inner. The big toe is not involved. It's the little toe that moves and carries the rest of the foot with it. When I was teaching dance, I used to do this a lot, and I was so much better. Now it's like, my brain goes, what do you want? Why are you doing this to me? But think about if the muscles in our feet, which carry us, are activated and being used, how much more we can get out of them and rest it. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. The heels, the heels, the heels, the heels. Bang, vibrate, 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 vibrate. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. Let's move to the edge of the chair and walk. And walk, and walk, and walk. From the heel to the outside. From the heel, it actually doesn't work, does it? It goes backwards. No, it doesn't work. So let's do it in real. And last thing that I want to try is to stand with the hands on the table and lift one heel, go towards the little toe and towards the second and third toe and come out with you actually leaning on the table. So you have a little bit more weight from the heel towards the outside and out towards the, so you have a step. So from the heel to the outside and back into the toes and coming out the second and third. And try the other foot. Shift to the outside and out through the second and third toe. Step a little bit further back. So you have a little bit more weight. Take your hip forward. Take your pelvis forward. Take your pelvis forward. So you have a stretch in the back of the leg. A little bit further back, your toe. There you go. There. Okay, so now, don't lift the feet. Just shift the weight to the outside and feel how your pelvis is shifting to the same, aligning itself with the outside of the foot. Now bring the weight into the second and third toe and feel how your hip is going forward as you knee bend. And come back. Again. Shift towards the outside of the right foot. Sense how the pelvis is shifting as you come into the center of the foot and into the second and third toe. The pelvis is going forward. Can you feel it? Yes? Good. And from the outside of the right, the hip is going in a circle to the outside and then comes forward and the heel is leaving the ground. Let's try it on the other leg. Coming to the left, to the middle of the foot and forward, and then back to the center. Have the weight there, and the heel goes forward and the heel leaves the ground. And come back with the heel. And shift to the outside of the left. Feel how the hip is moving with you. And then as you go forward, the hip goes forward and up. Let's do it one more time. Going to the left, rounding, forward and up. And lift the table. And walking is actually catching ourselves from falling. So we're going to fall. Now, do it in different ways, like where you're falling and you're leaving your hip behind, or if you're falling and you take your hip with you. Because if you take your hip with you, you're actually going to propel forward. If you leave your hip behind, you're going to get closer to the floor. And if it doesn't feel safe, you can do it close to a table. And one step at a time.
I'm scaring my dog.
She doesn't look concerned.
Yes. It's okay, baby.
So you're working on safety.
Hang on.
Forward,
One. Yeah.
forward.
you shift back to the whole foot.
So try to fall where you have the table maybe. So you don't go all the way to the floor. Things are moving too much for him. Okay.